you guys ever do slam poetry?
Or if you want to record whenever, okay.
You never done slam poetry? I feel like you would be really good at slam poetry.
Slam poetry is when you like make fun of each other, right?
No. What? You know what slam poetry is, right? It's like it's like life. What does it mean? Where do we go? You guys know what I'm talking about? Slam poetry.
Yeah.
No.
It's like kind of off the cuff, spur of the
It's
moment.
like off the cuff, like it's like very sporadic statements of stuff. So it's like Adam and Reuben, they're just two guys who cry. Sometimes they pry into lives. So like that's what it would be like.
It's like cheesy rapping.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
I have to Google it afterwards, yeah. Is, when people perform slam poetry, are they sitting in the position you're sitting in now?
Hey, man, you said be comfortable. And I was like, I am going to put my whole body on your bed.
You're a little too comfortable.
Listen, we're calling today's episode Schoolgirl Talk, so it's fine.
I'm dressed like I'm going to a metrosexual motorcycle rally. You're dressed like you're going to teach a class in bed to all of your perverted students.
Why would I have perverted students?
I don't know, because you look perverted. Oh, I'm just kidding.
I don't know, man. Adam wanted to argue so much on this podcast today.
It's the only thing that's interesting.
Let us know. I want to know what you guys think, the listeners. You guys like to hear us disagree? Or do you just feel like, oh, it's usually Reuben being right and Adam just being dumb?
I told this to my friend who was listening this week. She's like, I do side with Reuben often. I was like, yes, Reuben has the opinions everyone has. Like, my opinions are very nuanced about the reality of human emotion and decision making. Reuben is your annoying friend that says, break up with that person. You shouldn't be with them. And then my opinion is, but the reason why people don't break up with people that they shouldn't be with is because it's easy to be on the outside.
No, it's not easy to be on the outside. I think
because we all do
two
it.
ways to look at things. So there's two ways to look at things.
Okay.
There's the logical way, and there's the heart way. It's sometimes the heart way isn't the logical way, and the heart way is the right way. There is no right way.
There is no right way. And my whole thing
and I'm
is...
more logical than you are. That's all it is sometimes. When it comes to relationship stuff, let's be honest.
Well, but
I'm very
when it comes to relationships, logical is half of it, right? Like part of it is feeling. Because if we're all logical, you're just going to be with the person that makes the most sense to be with practically. But that's
and there's some people out there like that.
And that's fine. But that's
like,
for the most part, people fall in love with people. That's not rational. Falling in love with someone is not a logical thing that you do. It's a feeling you feel. So when you want to be with someone for the rest of your life, part of it's feeling, part of it is logic. It's both. It's not one or the other.
Right. And sometimes you have to look at it from both points of views, which I feel like a lot of people don't.
Right, and my whole when I'm talking about people who like are staying in relationships too long, I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's a waste of time. But we have to be empathetic with our friends.
I'm empathetic. My thing is like I'm not going to sit here and be sympathetic.
Yeah,
those are two different things too.
But that whole thing is what I don't like is like I want to walk through my friends' life with them. If they're making decisions I don't necessarily agree with, that aren't really hurting anybody, I'm still going to ask them how they're doing. I'm still going to be concerned and cared. Even if they're in a relationship, I'm like, what are you wasting your time in this relationship for? I'm still going to want to know and be considerate and care about how they're
they
doing.
Can talk to me about it, but like if they're going to keep bringing the same problems to me over and over again,
you kind of give up on it.
Yeah, you can miss me with that stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people do.
Because like, here's
a lot
my
of people
thing, dude.
get annoyed
Here's
with
my
that
thing.
stuff.
Okay, it's like if someone is having issues, like in relationships, and they keep bringing it up over and over again, and they think it's going to change, like that's the definition of insanity.
Well, but you have great married couples who complain about the same things that their partners own.
Sure, but it doesn't cause such a rift that they want to break up every week or they want to not talk to each other anymore. Like,
right, and that's
it's
not
how you work through it. And if you can work through it, it's different. Nobody's going to be a perfect couple. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Communication is key. Mm-hmm. Being open about your emotions are key. And this is coming from someone who's never been in a long-term relationship. So, like, take this whole thing with a grain of salt, right, guys? Like, my longest relationship was 8 months, and it was the most toxic relationships of my entire life. Mm-hmm. But I just feel I'm at a point in my life where, like, I kind of know what I want.
Yes.
And I know what I should be feeling. And I think that's good. But I think when I look at people and I see an issue and I bring it up, and I think that's great, but I'm going to tell them how I feel about their situation, because sometimes people are love drunk.
Yep.
Sometimes people are blinded.
We need honest opinions.
And so I want people to do the same thing to me.
Right. That's exactly right. That's all good. I'm all down with all of that.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Greg, come on, man. You need to speak up here a little bit, Greg. Speak it up, Greg.
Only if you're on my side, Greg. No, the thing is, I don't have a side because I actually agree with everything that you're saying. I'm more comfortable, I think, walking through my friend's decision-making process when it takes a long time. You know, I had an aunt who stayed with a man for 10 years, and at the end of it, looked back and be like, I don't know what took me so long to get rid of him. And I do. I'm like, that's a regret. Like, you should try to get out of that as soon as you can. But I want to be sympathetic to those people and try to help them understand why is it that you're still in this, you know, instead of just be like, I'm tired of hearing about it. Don't tell me about it anymore. I'd rather hear it. I'd rather have them talk about it, because the more they talk about it, the more quickly they will come to a decision and be like, you know what? I'm coming to the decision myself that this is not something I want to be a part of.
So if a person leaves a relationship, then goes back, leaves, goes back, that doesn't frustrate you to the point of saying, dude, I'm just not even going to talk about it anymore. Like, if I have a friend that, and this is not a slight to you at all.
It can be a slight to me, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. But like, if I'm doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result,
right?
Like, again, it's a little crazy to me. Like, I will give you 2 or 3 chances. When I'm in a relationship, 2 or 3 chances at the beginning about an issue, right? Like,
sure.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk through it.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you feeling this way? You know, this is how it makes me feel. And then, you know, once it happens 2 or 3 times and you're just disregarding of my feelings, then that's when I'm like, hey, this isn't working out.
Look, I would do the same thing with a new girl that I meet.
But like, when I look at her example, like, you know, we all know those people. They all, like, the moment their ex-boyfriend calls, like, they're running. You know what I mean? It's like memes all over the place about it. That type of stuff frustrates me. And like, I'm not gonna listen to you talk about the same problems over and over again. Like, if you need me to just like, if you just need me to take you out and make you forget about it, I can do that. But we're not going to sit here and talk about the same things every single time. And like, you expect me to give you a different answer than I've already been giving you.
Yeah,
it's like if I had a line cook,
they wouldn't expect a different answer. They might expect you to listen.
So if I had a line cook that was breaking down chickens, and I was like, this is the way you want to break down a chicken, and they kept messing it up, and they kept doing it wrong, I'm like, dude, I've showed you 3 or 4 times. I mean, what do you do at that point?
No, I get it. It doesn't bother me to hear my friends talk about, I'm struggling with this relationship. I don't want to lose them, but they drive me crazy. And I'm just walking with them through this journey of getting to the point where they're able to make a decision one way or the other. It just doesn't bother me to listen to. It bothers a lot of people to listen to that. And I totally get it.
Right. It's just like, it's not even about the bothering thing. It's just...
It's a little bit annoying, right?
It's just annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like with the situation with, you know, what we were talking about.
You can talk about Gabby. Yeah, it's fine.
No, not Gabby, but Gabby's Lara. Like,
yeah.
That to me, like, I can't sympathize with that at all.
Yeah.
And like, it
kind of bugs you.
It bugs me because if you're already saying, if someone better comes along, I'm going to jump out.
Yeah.
God, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that because you're wasting both of your times.
But again... What I think is interesting in situations like that, and this is why I consider getting back with an ex or am more careful about letting certain people go, is because my situation is different than yours. I don't know why this is. My dates are few and far between, maybe once or twice a year. You can meet new people pretty regularly. That's great. That's a gift. So like, if I'm considering letting someone back into my life again, it's because there's scarcity of those matches for me. And if you're in that position, if you can empathize being in that position of scarcity of those matches, you're going to be a lot more careful with the few matches that do come along, instead of being like, hey, look, this is a really great person. We get along really well. We're attracted to each other. Everything's working out. If there's an opportunity to bring that person back into my life, even if it's a little bit messy, I'm going to try it, right? Because I can't just go out and wait another 2 weeks and match with somebody on Hinge and go on more dates. It's just, for some reason, the universe has not given me that gift. And I'm not complaining. It's just the way that it is.
And that's like what I always say is I think it's indicative of a deeper problem.
No, but that being said, if I do match with a girl, and I've done this many times, I've matched with girls who are really cool, they're hot, whatever, but something comes up and I'm like, you're not fulfilling me. Like, you're not giving me what I know I deserve. Done.
I guess, like, for me, I just don't value being in a relationship as highly as you do, right? Like, I'm 100% okay being single. I actually like it. I actually am okay with my free time, my alone time. Like, for me, it doesn't bother me as much like it bothers you that you're not, like, with somebody.
Yeah. It's a little more of an existential anxiety, I think.
So, like,
I'm not as much at peace.
Right. And so, like, that's the other thing that gets me.
Yeah.
I think about a lot. I mean, and a lot of people are like that. This is
because it's innate, you know. And I have people that don't look for dates, and they're totally fine with that. And I just think those are differences, right? Like, I can still live a full, happy life doing my own thing. It's just there's a little bit of that, you know, anxiety, like a lot of people have. I don't think it's indicative of a deeper root issue.
I think so, because if you're always trying to fill that part of your life with another person, I think it's tough to be your own person sometimes.
No, it's just what makes you better. It's not what makes you who you are.
As far as...
my thing is this. I think when you make that such a huge part of your life, like dating, you talk about dating a lot, right? We talk about dating a lot. And, like, I go on quite a bit of dates. That's fine. But, like, I don't make it the biggest part of my life. Like, this is a huge part of my life. The cooking show is my career. Those are three things that I am proud of, and, like, it's a big reason why I am still single, because, like, those are what I value higher than that, and, like, it doesn't affect my mental health as much as it does some other people, and I think that's and again, it's because I believe that you need to be okay with yourself.
Yeah, it's like people who are really, really into cars. Love cars. They love stance cars that are smashed to the ground. They got the coolest rims. And you could say, well, you know, you should be happy without that stuff.
But cars don't have emotional feelings that can...
In some ways, they do. It's
cars are not... No. Cars are inanimate objects.
No, but you got to empathize with people who like cars or who love animals or whatever. They're so into something that if they didn't have that in their life...
Animals are not an inanimate object.
Be quiet for a second. If they didn't have that certain passion in their life, they would not feel as fulfilled. You can say that's a mental health issue. They should get help with that. I think it's just the way some people are wired. They really want something, and it makes them part of who they are, and that's okay. If you didn't have cooking, if you didn't have your career, and, you know, maybe you would feel like there's something a little bit missing, right? So everybody has something they're trying to fill their lives with, or that gives them meaning. It's subjective to you. If it's a relationship, if it's cooking, if it's cars, if it's whatever, meaning is subjective, and we have to find it ourselves.
So the difference is with relationships, there's a whole nother set of feelings that we're talking about. If I want a certain record, we were talking about a record earlier, it's $350. I know I can say I can save money up and I can attain that. These are attainable things that you're talking about. Sometimes there's some people out there that never meet somebody, right? There's some people out there that, like, will never ever have somebody.
Oh, and some people don't seek it either, yeah.
But there's some people that will just not ever be in a relationship
100%.
as much as they want to be. They won't. And, like, I think it's important to have that as a possibility in the back of your head. Not that it's going to happen.
100%. I could die tomorrow, not find someone. But, like, you still have to be happy.
To base so much of your personality with being with another person, to me, it's an issue.
Do you think that I do that?
Sometimes, yeah.
We talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But do you think that who I am as a person, and my personality, my interests, and my love for people and socializing and hanging out with friends and playing music and creativity, that is all based around finding a woman?
Recently, I feel like it has been, yeah.
Well, it's always been there, because I've always been happier doing all of that stuff when I have a partner.
And that's fair. I mean, no one's ever going to argue.
And that's good, and no one's going to tell me differently that it's not good.
Right, no one's ever going to argue that.
100%.
Of course, I'd rather have a partner.
Yeah.
But, like, I think it's okay. You have to me, and you have to learn how to do that stuff by yourself, too. Like,
yeah, but I have.
And if it's so few and far between, like, if it's so few and far between that you meet someone that, like, meets all of these criteria that you have for, like, I think you have to learn how to be accepting of that.
Yeah, but I am. If you don't think that I am, that's fine. Maybe just because we talk about this stuff a lot, we have a lot of conversations about it. But, like, I'm perfectly well adjusted to just going to bed at night, doing whatever, reading a book, watching a movie, whatever. If my heart might be seeking it, I might have a stronger motivation to find it. But actually, I don't think the motivation is any different than yours. Like, you and I both probably check the dating apps just as much. We both probably send messages just as much and try to go on dates just as much. I think maybe it's because I'm not sure. Maybe if it's like you have the opportunity to go on more dates and I don't, I might get more frustrated, but that's just a difference of circumstances. You know what I mean? Like if we're both looking for the same job and you happen to find a lot more jobs, offerings and interviews, and I'm doing the same type of seeking, expending the same amount of energy, but I'm finding fewer jobs, my frustration is going to grow more than yours. And then you look at me and be like, well, why don't you just be satisfied with the few job interviews you do get? And I'm like, well, you're getting someone, I'm not. Now, I'm not jealous or anything because we look for different girls and have different preferences and all that kind of stuff. But you have to be empathetic with that slight level of frustration just because I know that those matches are scarce. That's all.
Right. I get that. Because, like, dude, again, I went 4 years without going on a date, meeting anybody. And 100%. That was the most...
Yeah, you know what it's like just as much as I do.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that was the most formative years of my life because I was able to be okay not having that. And so when I do have it, it makes having that much freaking better.
Yeah, but you act as if I'm 4 years older than you. I've been doing that my entire life since I was a teenager, going to sleep, reading Discover magazine and investing in my faith and going on trips and traveling and doing missions trips and playing music in my church and doing all sorts of things, traveling with my family and doing so much accumulating lots of friendships and relationships and going on being, homecoming king and being, all the like status. I had all the friends, all this stuff. But it's there. My forming who I am as a human, my confidence is there 100%. It's just, I'm a little bit better when I'm with somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all are. It's just a little frustrating for me. And I don't know, Greg, I really want to hear your thoughts on it because like you're kind of like the third party.
Yeah. I mean,
I just feel like we all want somebody. That's just, again, it's innate. But I think it's also important to just say, I'm okay not seeking that sometimes. And like if it happens naturally, like, yeah, we're on the abs and stuff, but I'm not going to like obsess over that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess obsession is I don't know how you would define it. It'd be subjective. How you define it.
Obsession, Greg?
I mean, I've already told you guys I had a friend that I thought I used to give that same advice to. It was a female friend, and she dated a friend of mine that they were high school sweethearts. Actually, they were before high school sweethearts and were together for like 8-10 years. And when she moved on, she dated a couple guys quickly in succession. And then she met the guy that she is still married to today. And I was saying the same stuff to her. Now it was a lot of instant messenger chat because she would just like come and unload to me emotionally when she was just not feeling it.
Yeah.
And I used to think the same thing. I was like, well, what do you want to be outside of you being in a relationship? Because it seems like you went from the guy that you were with for 10 years, you went to this guy. When that didn't work out, you went to this guy. That didn't work out. I mean, like hers were literally like in succession, like semi-automatic weapon. Just she was going through them like nothing. That said, the guy she stayed with, the last one, they got married. They have a kid. They've been together ever since, and they work together at the same place. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. And I mean, maybe
it's hard to judge that. I wouldn't necessarily look at her and be like, hey, you're living some unfulfilled life. It's just, you've got a different level of interest in romance and marriage than other people do.
I guess like the difference with that,
you think it's unhealthy.
No, it's not even unhealthy. Cause like I had the same worries about Cortland. I felt like he was going to succession. He was going from one to another. And that's also another different thing. I feel like if you're meeting other people, I think that's okay. That's okay. I think it's when you start to dip your toe back into other pools.
It's just hard for you to create an argument to say that there's something unfulfilling or inhuman or doesn't allow him to have the full human experience.
I didn't say any of that. I just said
it's a little bit like that.
No,
there's a little bit of a negative too. Instead of just being, well, that's what he likes and that's what he seeks and it's fine. No,
I think it's a negative when you let it affect your person. Your person is like being so negatively affected.
Mine's not.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes you're crying about it. You're like,
what have I cried about it? Not since 2 years ago. That was a heartbreak.
I mean, you cried about it 3 weeks ago.
When?
When you were talking about when you said, "Oh, when you broke it off the first time."
Oh, so I was a little bit emotional about it.
Since she's been back, it's been 3 times that you said, "Oh, I've broken up with it. I just can't do it anymore."
Yeah, until we
go
clarify.
back to it.
Yeah,
so like, you can understand my frustration.
Yeah.
Right? As a friend who's like, damn, this is happening again. So like, that's what I mean. It's like, if you were with somebody else, like again, when you were Jess, it was I think it was fine.
But it would be nice if you would be like, I understand why you want to give it a chance. And if she really likes you and she's struggling with her decision, so she loves 2 men. Me and this other guy who she's not sure about. I love her, and I also love Jessica from Ecuador. I'm not talking to her right now, but I love her just the same. And I've told Gabby this. I'm like, I'm in love with 2 women. You're in love with 2 men. That's reality. That can happen. And so you're in a position where you're trying to figure out, who should I be with? And it's messy. It's not that it's not messy. You know, I'm not going to think, I'm just going to say a terrible analogy, but it's not going to make any sense. But like, I'm okay taking those risks because I know that those types of matches are like 2 people I found in the last 15 years are people that I feel like, you know, I could spend my life with if the circumstances are right. So like, I'm willing to go through that a little bit if eventually it works out. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay. I'm willing to take that risk. And if that means I don't talk to you about it anymore, that's fine. I'll go to somebody else. You know what I mean? That kind of thing too.
Do you think that it's because for the first time, I'll just say this is my perception and my perception only. So tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
It seems in the last, I'd say 2 years, maybe 3, you have found people that you actually had a emotional, I'll just say love connection with
100%.
at the risk. And in the past, I've seen you with other people you've dated.
Yeah.
You've been in relationships, you've had girlfriends, you've had girls you've hung out with.
Yeah.
But I personally feel like, nothing against them, just it wasn't there.
No.
You weren't in love. There wasn't that like.
No, they all went on a date other people I couldn't have cared less. Yeah.
Right.
Didn't bother me.
These last 2, I'm going to say, 2 that I know of.
Yeah, they're people I love. They're people I truly had a romantic love for, yeah.
And I think that might be the difference. And and once you taste that for the first time, you're kind of like, crap, I don't want to let that go.
Right.
Or it just messes you up. I mean, crap, like when it first happens and then the person does go away, you're like, that's terrible. Like a piece of me has been ripped out. I'm gone. But then you happen to luck out and you're like, oh crap, lightning just struck twice. I found another person I feel this way about.
Right.
And I don't know. It's hard. If you had met somebody that you didn't have that connection with, you probably would have just
it wouldn't matter. No,
moved on.
At all. Yeah, 100%. Anyway, it's funny we got into this because we weren't even intending to talk about it. Greg, that was really, thank you for your input.
I guess there's like a lot to unpack there because like she had also said like she needed time.
Yeah.
And I don't really know. I mean, I don't know how healthy it is to be in this situation with someone that you love and
to be not exclusive,
to not be exclusive, to see this happen, to know you have this connection, and to have been there when this happened the first time and saw how much it hurt you. The reason why I get so passionate about it is because I don't want that to happen again. So hold on. So when I get worked up about it, it's because love can make you blind. Like I said it before. I was in a situation last year where like my buddy called me up. He's like, yeah, listen to that podcast about that girl you were talking about. And he was like, you know, that's a big risk. And I was like, yeah, I took the risk. Yeah. But like, it also didn't mess me up as much. I mean, so that's the thing. I think like you worked so hard to get over that and like to move on from that.
Just live my life. It's just time.
Right. And like, you know, it feels like it's starting, there's some patterns that are coming up, but I could be wrong. You know?
Yeah. No.
There's a glimmer of hope.
It's not even that there's hope. I mean, I anything could happen at this point, and that's fine. She could be, instead of this ex, could be a new girl that I form this bond with, and we get together and we start building it, and a year, and it goes by, and then it doesn't work out, and then we break up, and then we try again, and we get heartbroken. I mean, that's life, and I'm willing to take those risks, right? Because this is a person who I accepted first, and then I let go, and then had another chance. And so it's just like, I'm going to just try it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if I cry about it and I get upset about it, that's life. I'm not ending my life because of it. In fact, in the last 2 years, I've done more traveling. Right. I've done more music. We've done the podcast. Like in some ways, it motivates you to do even more, right? So, you know, I just need to find new friends to talk to about it. Like, you know, my mom. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're pretty good. You listen to me. Yeah, you're pretty good.
And, you know, here's the thing. I think the biggest thing is like in the last, since she's been back, what's it been, like maybe a month?
I think it's a month, yeah.
Right. There's been 3 times you said, I need to just stop. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
3 separate times.
Part of it was her not clarifying.
So it's like watching a sitcom where you see the guy and the girl get back together and then break. You're like, oh my gosh, is it this time of the year again?
Yeah.
So
It's
like,
messy.
all right, well,
it's messy.
So it kind of loses its like efficiency. That's why I was like, you know what, like that's cool, I guess, but like, what's gonna happen next week?
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, but it's like any relationship, though, right? You have those ups and downs, and you're sometimes you're trying to figure out what are we, how are we starting out, what's the deal? You're back after 2 years. You're just figuring it out, and sometimes it takes a little bit of frustration.
And you said she has some healing to do.
Yeah.
Right? And
she's going to therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. And, sometimes I think space is a good form of healing too.
And what's so funny about all this is she said the same thing. We could start dating again. And then I'd be like, yeah, you're not the one again. And do the same thing. And I might let her go. Right. So, I mean, the risk, I've already rejected her once. Then she dated someone else and I couldn't be with her and I wanted to be. But the same thing could happen again. Right. Like, but we have to feel it out and try. Like, I just don't know that stuff until I try. And the other thing is, if I met somebody else in the meantime, I'm single. I could go on other dates and explore something else if that happens, But I'm happy to take a risk in the meantime. So
yeah, see, I don't think you're giving yourself. I mean, it doesn't feel.
It is a little bit of a distraction. I would say that.
I don't feel like you're giving yourself the opportunity to really fully get invested in another person.
Well, if I met another person, I would go on dates, and if it seemed like something was going to go on, yeah. I mean, I'm able to meet people the same way now that I would if Gabby was dead,
Jesus Christ, you made that really dark.
No, as an example, right?
No, yeah, I get it. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if anybody knows what we're talking about.
This might,
Do you want to talk about love languages?
Yeah.
We got some time.
Yeah, we can talk about love languages a little bit. What
do you think? What do you think?
I like, mine is, so do you want to name them real quick?
Yeah, I'll name them real quick. 5 love languages. Words.
I also want to hear everybody's thoughts on what we were just talking about, because I would love to get some feedback from
What's the
audience.
premise? What do we want them to give feedback on?
No, I want feedback on what we just talked about.
Do we want to give them a question?
Well, just what
it's a pretty nuanced. What are we asking them to respond on?
Just like
whether I should talk to my ex?
No,
or
I think the question should be, do you think it is? Oh, man, what's a good question?
based on what we were talking about, yeah.
So I guess, do you think you have to go on a personal journey where you're single for 6 months to 2 years in order to be ready to go back to dating? I don't know.
That's an interesting question. I mean, that's a good one to pose.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Let's do that.
Did to go on that self-development, who am I pilgrimage?
I think the older you get too, I think that's a good thing to do.
So do you take a set period of time after you've had a hard breakup to rediscover yourself and ignoring potential future loves in the meantime? If I take a year and after 4 months I meet some incredible person, nope, I've got 8 more months before I can date. Do you wait the full amount that you set for yourself, or do you take opportunities that come up in the meantime?
I guess it depends on where you are mentally, right?
Yeah,
so I met somebody
Good point.
7 years ago, and the same thing happened. I had been through 3 pretty bad relationships. I dated this girl. I found this girl, and she was great. And I was like, well, I can't not take this risk. And then 6 months later, I was like, I'm just not there.
Right.
She was great.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just crazy because there is the chance that this person that you love will never be ready, or they won't be ready in the right amount of time that you want them to be ready. And so I think a good way to do that is to kind of disassociate yourself just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Instead of hanging out with them every weekend or 2 times a week, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Maybe once a month.
Yeah. That's good advice.
Maybe once a month. That's what I'm saying. I think to be this person that's there all the time.
Yeah.
Can be a little unhealthy for both parties.
Yeah. Because you get too attached.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you just get attached, and then at one point they're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. You can't do this anymore. She can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But
it's fun.
I know she thinks I hate her. I don't hate her. I care about her just as much. It's just there's I just want everybody to be happy and fulfilled and we don't need unnecessary stress on others. We already have enough freaking stress around us as it is. So if I can eliminate some stress with a situation like this by having these conversations or taking space, taking precautions, That's what I think needs to be done.
Who wants to take precautions? I want to go skydiving.
That's fine too.
Break my heart.
Yeah, guess what you do when you go skydiving?
Girls. What?
You take precautions. You wear a parachute. You have a skydiving instructor. You just don't go to a plane and be like, all right, peace, and jump out of the plane. You have a person with there, you telling you what's going on and what's going to happen. This is when you pull the string. I'll be here if you don't pull the string to pull the string at the right time.
Reuben, I took the precautions. I bought extra tissues. So if I cry, I'm good to go.
That's not the precaution I'm talking about. You know it.
You need emotional
You
prophylactics.
freaking know it. Look at the position I'm in right now. Would I lie to you in this position?
Yeah, you are in the prone position.
Yeah, dude.
Almost doggy
If a
style.
murderer came to the door right now, I would be the one to die first.
yeah,
I'd be
you
like,
would.
hold on.
I gotta get up.
Let me get up. Oh, God, don't kill me yet. It'd be the worst.
Yeah, let's hit the love languages, man, real quick.
Real quick. Go ahead. Name them.
How long has it been?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it's been 30 minutes.
Well, come on. Name them.
All right,
Name 'em.
5 love languages. Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch. Reuben, what are your main 2 love languages to receive from your partner?
I like to receive acts of service, and I am also I want to say gifts, but gifts make it seem like I just like things. I like sentimental things.
And the thing is, you're really good at giving gifts and sentimental
Right.
gifts.
So, like, those are my 2 for both. So,
Yeah.
like, for example, if a girl I'm seeing is having a bad day and she said, oh, my favorite soup is, Campbell's Chunky whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I'll go get her that and, like, whatever. And I'll make a little care package. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but, like, drop it off on her steps, something like that.
That's awesome. Why do you think acts of service, though, is something important for you to receive? Something about
it just shows that they're thinking about me. You know what I mean? And, like, they see something or they notice something and it's like they did it.
Do you like when someone helps to, like, make your life easier or contributes to maintaining the household or...
Like, I dated a girl, like, one day she came in my house and did my laundry and I thought that was the sweetest
That
thing
is the
ever.
best thing.
And so then I cooked her dinner that night,
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever done the mixtape thing?
No, I think the mix. That was a little past me. I didn't date until I was like 19, so like I didn't do the whole like burning CDs things for a girl. At least I burned it for myself.
That's a cute gift to give somebody. Yeah. Well, back like 20 years ago.
Couldn't young people do it through Spotify? Like, hey, I made this playlist for you.
Actually, that is kind of cool. That's actually kind of a cool idea.
It's the order of the songs.
It's interesting.
It's not. I mean, you can't make transitions and things, but you don't. Have to.
You actually can if you can set up Spotify to like fade into another song now.
Cool.
It's kind of crazy.
As part of the playlist, like you can say stop at 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, Greg, I am curious about you. What love languages do you like to receive from Kim, your wife?
We definitely do things for each other. She's done things for me all the time. Like if I'm doing a DJ gig or something, like I did a wedding, she'll do simple things. She'll make like an egg sandwich in the morning because she knows I've got to like go through things and get stuff ready. Or she'll get me a water bottle as I'm walking out the door because she knows I don't have time to stop on the way. I'm usually like trying to get on time. So I mean, it's kind of like the doing nice things for each other. Like. I'll try to go out of my way to do things for her. Like if she's going to fly somewhere, I say, look, don't drive up there and park in long term. I'll drive there. Well, it's during the day. I was like, I'll take off. I'll leave work for a little bit. I'll drive you to the airport. I'll pick you up. It's better. You don't have to walk to your car in the dark, 10 o'clock at night, So, I mean, I think it's kind of just the courtesies. Like you said, if you know somebody likes something and it brightens their day, you do it. Or if they come to your house and take care of something for you.
So what are your love languages? Is it acts of service?
Words of affirmation, quality time.
Oh, definitely quality time.
Quality time.
Quality
I was
time.
gonna say you're definitely a quality time guy.
Yeah.
You give off such quality time vibes.
Like watching the same shows, going to dinner.
Oh yeah, we do that all the time.
Yeah. It is
That's a good point too. I feel like we're all like a little bit of all of these.
Sure. I think most people probably are, right?
Because quality time's a big one for me too.
Yeah. You'd think that would be a given in any relationship.
Right.
Like, you should be spending time together, but, like, it's rare, I guess, for some couples.
Well, spending time together is different than quality time.
Right.
Ooh. Ruben's drop knowledge on your own way.
Because, like, what if you're both in the same... What if, Greg, you and Kim are hanging out in the living room, she's reading a book, you're watching The Office. Is that really quality time? Or does it have to be interacting?
That's a hard one. Like
any of you guys
depends on if you ask her or not.
Yeah, true.
Because I can be fooling with computers or something like that, or I'm like looking at my phone reading something, and if I'm not watching the show that we're supposed to be watching together, I will get told.
Well, yeah. But if you're both content doing a separate activity in the same room, sometimes that's fun. Like I've done that with friends and stuff.
I think that's fine.
I don't know if that's quality time.
So it's yours, Adam.
Physical touch, quality time, obviously. Words of affirmation.
Let it be known that I switched positions.
So. You have switched positions.
So would you say quality time?
Yeah, well, quality time, obviously. I just feel like that's such a given. But words of affirmation and physical touch, like I love little encouraging words throughout the day. And maybe it's because I work from home and I have a lot of downtime on my phone. But just being like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about you, or here's a funny meme, here's a funny GIF. It's just like, it just makes like kind of a drag day of meetings and whatever just like a little bit better, you know? And the physical touch, like I'm not even talking about sex or whatever. I'm just talking about like just the touch, just like, hey, I'm next to you, and like, oh, touch your leg or touch or a little shoulder rub like that. Man, it's like, oh, you're really thinking about what I need, you know?
Especially after COVID.
What do you mean?
We were by ourselves for so long.
Like yeah. That didn't really affect my physical touch, but yeah.
See,
but I know what you mean. Yeah,
I am not a fan of PDA. Physical touch is nice.
Yes. Good segue.
But I am not a fan of like public. Like when I say public displays of affection,
how much? Right.
I mean like I dated this girl last year, and like she would just grab my face and kiss me at like the table, and I would be like,
at a restaurant.
Yeah, I'd be like, can you not? Yeah. And like, obviously we talked to Cortland about it because that was like, a little bit excessive.
They're wild, man.
It was excessive.
Yeah.
That was last
Sorry,
year.
Cortland. Yeah. It's cute.
I don't care. No. No. He like slightly embarrassed me the one day with it. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, people. Like hand holding's okay.
Hand holding's fine. Arm around, handle the thigh, like that kind of thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Hand holding, cool. But like making out in public, gross.
Yeah, really.
That's not for. And I am not an exhibitionist.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like to do things for other people like that.
Right.
So like I don't know. It's just weird to me.
And anytime I think we can make somebody else uncomfortable, it's like.
Right.
I really have to do this right now, you know what I mean? But I don't know.
A little peck, fine.
Peck is good.
Fine.
And holding.
But making out, like full on making out.
Well, if you're in the movie theater,
the guy last year legitimately told Cortland, keep your hands where I can see him. Like,
that's funny. Treat him like a teenager. That is funny. Yeah,
burn on Cortland.
He's quoting Busta Rhymes. Keep your hands where my eyes can see. Yeah.
That is pretty funny, though. What about the movie theater, though?
What do you mean?
Have you ever like made out with a girl in a movie theater, or?
Yeah, I mean,
it's dark.
It's not super public though, because there's not a lot.
It's true. You have a little more privacy.
It depends. If I'm going like opening day of like Doctor Strange or something,
and it's packed.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and like make out. But like the one time I saw like Jurassic Park, and when it was like re-released in theaters with a girl I was seeing, and like we were like one of 3 people in the theater. We had like a whole row to ourselves. So yeah, obviously she like got on top, and we were like making out. Like. I was also 22, and I thought that's what you were supposed to do.
my girlfriend in my mid-20s, we went to a movie, and it was pretty full. And we started just kind of like, it wasn't bad, but it was like, you know, we're just like touching his legs, thigh, you know, kissing a little bit, and it was like we're getting hot and heavy. We like got up and left in the middle of the movie, and it was packed. Like clear, I think it was pretty clear like why we got up and left. The movie was fine. It wasn't a bad movie. And it was a little embarrassing. We were like, we need to go.
Dude,
but it's better to leave.
Can always tell that stuff, dude. Like,
it's better to leave than
listen. I come
from
the restaurant industry, dude. Like,
what are people doing in the kitchen? Are they using cooking grease and cooking oil? You know,
go out to the car and get a little something real quick. You know, like it's crazy.
Aye.
It's wild.
Were you guys in Newark? Well, you would have been at the university.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Behind the Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh, they got the couple that got arrested for fornicating in the public parking lot.
Behind a dumpster.
In broad daylight, I think.
Yes. Broad daylight. It was crazy.
Once you realize that people can get arrested for that stuff, it's like the wanting to fool around in even like the woods or public places or public parks is like, nah, man, I don't want to get arrested for trying to be intimate.
I did hear stories of that from people who may or may not have been officers at universities, and like what I heard is they just go and check and say, everybody's here because they want to be here?
Yep.
Okay. And then they leave.
Yeah. Especially if there's nobody around and you're not like, there's not like kids walking around or whatever. Like that's a problem.
Yeah. Those university kids are like ruthless, dude. I have a funny story about, I used to work at a restaurant and we did mixers, right? We did like sorority and fraternity mixers.
Oh boy.
It was a way to make money in the in the winter seasons because we were so slow.
Yeah.
And we would hire like security guards.
Yeah.
And I asked the one guy, like, yo, man, like, what's the craziest story? He said, man, one day we're going to a store and I see this guy. He has his head up. You know what I mean? He's kind of walk over and I have my flashlight and I look at him and I look down and there's this girl just going to town on him down there.
Oh, geez.
And he's like, I flashed the light on her. She just looked right back. She looked up at me like 2 seconds and then went right back at it.
Oh, geez.
And he was like, I was like, you know what? You got that, bro.
Oh, man.
Oh, my
God. A bunch of people around. Like, people oh, gosh. I guess there's that point, like, what can you do?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's wild, man.
Yeah, so today the theme is be alone forever.
Be alone forever.
And enjoy it.
Well, That being said, though, it is, I will say, when you are really single, meaning you have a long period of time without dating anyone, it does give you a focus to find other things. Go do a yoga class, a meditation class, go on a trip or travel or whatever. Some of those circumstances force you into learning and doing other things. And I appreciate that. I like doing that. I want to group travel with your mom. I really want to do that, Reuben. Go to Greece.
Sure, go ahead. She's in India right now, so you can go take that flight over there, dude.
Oh, right on over to New Delhi, baby. Woo!
That's so racist.
12 hours.
No, New Delhi's in India. It's not racist.
That's not where my mom is.
I don't know. Where is your mom?
Don't worry about it.
We're going to book that flight right now. What city is she in? Nah, your mom is great.
She's awesome.
Mental health check. Craig, you want to go first?
Sure.
0 to 10.
I'm doing all right this week. I'd say an 8.
8.
Ooh.
Awesome. Okay. Work must not be too stressful.
All right,
Adam?
just dealing with it.
7, 8. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Good.
I think I'm around there too.
Yeah, good.
It's a good week. It's a good week for the guys.
So Reuben's had some success with the ladies. Let's just say that.
Not really. I mean, it's just.
It's nice to meet new people,
Here's the
man.
thing. With dating apps, here's the thing. Here's my last point, and then I will move. Then we will wrap it up. I give probably 90% of women that match with me a chance, and by 90%, I mean one of the 2 girls that match with me.
Yeah.
No, but like, listen, if you think I'm cool and I think you're cool and I think you're attractive, like, yeah, sure, we'll go on one date.
100%.
Do 2 dates, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I have my one story. I finally matched with a girl on Hinge. I thought she was really cute. We talked on the first day, set up a date on the first day, and then the second day, she was like, I kept initiating conversation, and she was like, I don't think this is going to work. And I said, oh, why? Is it because I have an Android cell phone? I was assuming she had an iPhone. And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go on a date with a girl I actually find attractive. This is great. And that's my luck. So, Reuben, you should sob for me.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, we're good. You guys can find us on social media. Instagram is our most prominent social media location, Guys Who Cry Official. You can also find us on YouTube at guyswhocry.com/YouTube.
Yep, and you can find us on TikTok, which we haven't really been doing that for a while.
We got to do it.
Guys Who Cry Official 2396.
Yes, and Guys Who Cry Podcast on Facebook. Definitely follow us, check us out, and give us your thoughts on this week's podcast. Reuben, Greg, any other thoughts?
No, I just know I'm right.
No.
Hey-o! Yeah, tell us what you think. Thanks for tuning in this week. Check us out next week and be entertained.